Okay, so get this. You sent in this article, and it's called 99% of Men Don't Know Women Are Checking This Out.
Hmm.
And it's got me kind of wondering, if I've been walking around totally oblivious, like my whole life,
Right.
this article claims to reveal what women are noticing about men,
Mm-hmm.
often before a single word is even spoken.
Interesting.
I'm a little nervous to dive into this one, to be honest.
Yeah.
But hey, knowledge is power, right?
Absolutely. I think we're all sending and receiving signals constantly,
Right.
even if we're not aware of it.
Yeah.
This article is like a crash course
Okay.
in decoding those subtle cues, and
Yeah.
it's definitely eye-opening for sure.
So the article kicks things off by saying that it's not just about being conventionally attractive,
Okay.
but it's about how you present yourself.
Right.
It even compares a first date to a job interview.
Uh-huh.
You want to put your best foot forward.
It's fascinating because research actually backs this up.
Oh, really?
Studies have shown that people who are well-groomed and dressed appropriately
Yeah.
are often perceived as more competent, trustworthy,
Wow.
even intelligent. It's called the halo effect,
Okay.
where one positive trait influences our perception of other unrelated traits.
So a well-ironed shirt really could make you seem smarter.
Potentially, yeah.
I'll have to remember that.
It's worth considering.
But the article goes even further.
Okay.
It claims that women pay attention to your shoes.
Interesting.
Who knew footwear could be such a deal breaker?
It might sound surprising,
Yeah.
but think about it. Shoes can be a powerful indicator
Okay.
of someone's personality and lifestyle. Are they meticulously clean and polished?
Right.
Or a bit scuffed and worn?
Okay.
Do they match the occasion?
Yeah.
Or are they completely out of place?
It's like those shoes are narrating a story about your life before you even open your mouth.
Exactly, they're sending a message.
Oh, okay. I'm starting to feel a little self-conscious about my footwear choices now.
I understand, but it's good to be aware of these things.
But let's move on to the next point.
Sure.
The article really hammers this home. How you treat service staff is a huge GE tell.
This is where we start to move beyond just appearances
Okay.
and get into the realm of character.
Right.
How someone treats others, especially those in a position of service,
Yeah.
can reveal a lot about their empathy, their values, and their emotional intelligence.
So if I'm rude to a waiter, it's not just bad manners, it's a red flag about my personality.
It could be perceived that way, yes.
That's a tough pill to swallow, but I get it.
It's about showing basic respect and kindness.
Right.
And those qualities go a long way.
Yeah.
Not just in romantic relationships, but in all aspects of life.
Okay.
It's about recognizing the humanity in everyone,
Right.
regardless of their job title or social status.
That's a great point. It's not just about impressing a date, it's about being a decent human being.
Exactly.
Okay, so we've talked about presentation and character,
Right.
but what about those nonverbal cues? The article highlights the power of a smile.
A genuine smile
Yeah.
is like a universal language of warmth and approachability. Studies have shown that smiling
Yeah?
can actually trigger the release of endorphins.
Really?
Not just in the person smiling, but in the person receiving the smile.
Wow.
It's like an instant mood booster.
So a simple smile can create a positive feedback loop,
Exactly.
making both people feel good.
It's a win-win.
I like that, but I think we've all encountered those forced, cheesy smiles
Right.
that feel anything but genuine. The
Absolutely.
article makes a point of saying it's gotta be authentic.
A genuine smile involves the eyes.
Oh,
You
yeah.
get those crinkles at the corners,
Yeah.
and it reaches all the way to the mouth,
Okay.
creating a sense of warmth and openness.
Right.
It's the difference between a polite greeting and a genuine connection.
Okay. I'm making a mental note to practice my genuine smile in the mirror.
That's a good idea.
Now for something completely unexpected.
Was
The article says women pay attention to your lips.
This one might seem a bit random at first,
Yeah, it does.
but it actually ties back to the overall theme of self-care and attention to detail.
So are we talking about lip balm here?
Exactly.
Okay.
Dry, chapped lips can be a sign of dehydration or neglect,
Right.
which can subconsciously send the message that you don't prioritize your well-being. On the other hand, well-hydrated, healthy-looking lips
Yeah.
can convey a sense of vitality and attractiveness.
It's amazing how these tiny details can play such a big role.
It really is.
Okay, I'm adding lip balm to my shopping list right now.
Good idea.
So we've covered clothes, shoes, manners, even lips. This deep dive is already making me rethink my entire approach to getting ready in the morning.
It's all about being mindful of those subtle signals.
What other secrets does this article hold?
Well, remember how we talked about shoes telling a story?
Yeah.
Turns out your scent can be just as revealing.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I can't wait to hear more about that.
We'll definitely dive into that when we come back.
Perfect. Welcome back. I'm still kind of reeling from that last point about lips. Who knew hydration could be so crucial?
Right.
But you mentioned scent
Yeah.
being another secret code we might be broadcasting without even realizing it.
It's amazing how our sense of smell is so closely tied to memory and emotion.
Yeah.
You know, you walk past someone wearing a particular cologne, and suddenly you're transported back to a specific time and place.
It's like a time machine for your nose.
Exactly.
The article mentions that a clean, fresh fragrance can make someone unforgettable, but I imagine there's a fine line between alluring and just like overpowering.
Oh, absolutely. There's definitely an art to it.
Right.
A subtle scent can be intriguing and create a positive association,
Right.
while going overboard can have the opposite effect.
It reminds me of that study I read where they found that women were actually less attracted to men who wore strong, musky scents.
Oh, interesting.
It's like our primal instincts are telling us to be wary of someone who's trying too hard to mask their natural scent.
That's a great point.
Yeah.
It's almost like we're subconsciously looking for authenticity,
Yeah.
even when it comes to fragrance.
Mm.
But let's shift gears a bit
Okay.
and talk about this idea of first impressions.
Okay.
The article suggests that all these observations,
Yeah.
the shoes, the smile, the way someone treats a waiter,
Right?
they all feed into a sort of snapshot that forms in our minds.
It's like our brains are putting together a puzzle piece by piece
Yeah,
to create an overall impression of someone.
exactly.
But this whole process is happening so quickly,
Right.
often without us even realizing it.
It's a combination of instinct, past experiences,
Wow.
and social conditioning, all converging in a matter of seconds.
So are we saying that first impressions are everything?
Not necessarily.
Okay.
First impressions are powerful, for sure,
Right.
but they're not always the whole story.
Okay.
As we get to know someone better,
Yeah.
our initial impression might be confirmed, challenged,
Right.
or even completely flipped on its head.
That's a relief to hear.
I know, right?
I know I've definitely misjudged people based on first impressions.
Yeah.
I'm sure I've been on the receiving end of that as well. But it does make you wonder why we're so quick to make these judgments in the first place.
There are some fascinating theories about the evolutionary purpose of these snap judgments.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Some researchers believe it's a survival mechanism,
Okay.
a way to quickly assess whether someone is a threat or a potential ally.
So it's like our brains are still running that ancient software,
Possibly?
even though we're not living in the same world anymore.
It's an interesting thought.
Think about it in our evolutionary past, being able to quickly size up someone's intentions
Right.
could be the difference between life and death.
Exactly.
But even in today's world, making judgments about people can be important for navigating social situations.
Absolutely.
Like deciding who to trust, who to avoid, or even who to befriend.
It's a complex process.
It's fascinating to think that those ancient instincts might still be influencing our modern-day interactions.
It's a reminder that we're all connected to our evolutionary past.
But here's the thing, even though these judgments happen quickly, and often subconsciously, we can still learn to be more aware of them.
That's the key to personal growth.
So it's like being a detective of your own mind.
I like that analogy.
Paying attention to those initial reactions and asking yourself, why am I feeling this way about this person? Is it based on solid evidence, or am I letting my biases and assumptions take over?
Exactly. By becoming more mindful of this process,
Yeah.
we can start to challenge those assumptions
Okay.
and make more informed and fair judgments about the people we meet.
It's like we're taking control of our own internal narrative instead of letting our subconscious mind call all the shots.
We're becoming more conscious and intentional.
But I'm curious, now that we've explored the psychology behind first impressions,
Yeah.
how does it relate back to the specific details we were talking about earlier?
Okay.
Like the shoes, the smile, the way someone treats the waiter. Are those things just superficial cues?
That's a great question.
Or is there something deeper going on?
I think it's important to look at these details through the lens of what they might reveal about someone's character and values.
Okay.
For example, we talked about the importance of treating service staff with respect.
Right, it's not just about being polite.
Exactly.
It's a sign of empathy and consideration for others.
And those qualities are incredibly attractive
Yeah.
because they signal that someone is likely to be kind, compassionate,
Right.
and emotionally intelligent.
It's like a window into their soul. or at least into how they treat people who might be considered less powerful than them.
Absolutely. And remember, this isn't about trying to manipulate people or present a false image of ourselves.
Okay.
It's about being aware of the signals we're sending.
Right.
And striving to be our best selves.
This deep dive is really making me think about all the ways we're constantly communicating, even when we're not saying a word.
It's fascinating, isn't it?
Yeah.
And it makes you realize that those small, everyday interactions can have a profound impact on how we perceive and connect with each other.
This has been incredibly insightful.
I'm glad you're enjoying it.
Before we wrap things up, is there anything else in the article that we should touch on?
You know, there's one final point that I think ties everything together beautifully.
Welcome back. You know, it's funny, we've been dissecting this article and analyzing all these subtle cues, but I'm realizing this isn't just about attracting a romantic partner.
That's so true.
Yeah.
These principles apply to all kinds of relationships.
Yeah.
Friendships, professional connections, even just casual encounters.
It's like we're learning this secret language of human interaction.
I like that.
Unlocking these hidden meanings behind everyday behaviors.
And the beauty of it is that it's not about manipulation.
Right.
Or trying to be someone you're not.
Yeah.
It's about self-awareness and authenticity.
So as we wrap up this deep dive, what's the most important takeaway you want our listener to remember?
I think it's the idea that even the smallest details can have a big impact. We've talked about shoes, smiles, scents, even the way you treat your waiter.
Right.
All these things contribute to the overall impression you create.
It's like we're painting a portrait with our actions and behaviors. It's creating a visual representation of who we are.
And the fascinating thing is that people are constantly reading these signals.
Right.
Whether they're aware of it or not.
It's like we're all walking around with these invisible billboards, broadcasting our personalities and values.
Exactly. And by becoming more conscious of the messages we're sending, we can make sure they're aligned with the image we want to project.
But it's not about striving for perfection or trying to please everyone.
No.
It's about being true to yourself and letting your best quality shine through.
Well said.
Yeah.
It's about finding that sweet spot between self-awareness and authenticity.
So to our listener out there, I hope this deep dive has given you some food for thought. Maybe you'll start noticing things you hadn't before. Or maybe you'll just feel a little more confident in your next social interaction.
Remember, it's all about those small steps.
Right.
Taking the time to polish your shoes.
Okay.
Offering a genuine smile. Treating everyone with kindness.
Right.
These seemingly insignificant actions can make a world of difference.
And who knows? You might just make a lasting impression on someone.
Absolutely.
Or even change their entire perception of you.
It's amazing how much power we hold in those everyday moments.
That's a great point.
Until next time, keep exploring, keep learning, and keep diving deep.
Thanks for joining us this